welcome to another episode of Queer They're Everywhere. I'm your hostess with the mostess, Glitzy Jagger, and today in my boudoir on my couch, I have the very fabulous, very wonderful lesbian icon, feminist icon, Olivia Moss of Feminine Project. Am I saying that correctly?
Future Female Project.
Start again.
You might have to start.
Future Female Project.
Yeah.
Gate.
Dog.
Jonas, can you keep him quiet, please? Thank you.
It's definitely recording, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. I can see us.
You can see us, okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Recording. These can be outtakes. The ins, the outs, the all abouts.
Go for it.
Katie! Oh no, here we go.
Don't look at me.
How are you with these damn things? I only picked it up because it matches the whole ensemble. Okay, here we go.
Right.
Ladies and... No, I'm just like in a sit. No, it's
just messing myself up.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Queer They're Everywhere. I'm your hostess with the mostess, Glitzy Jagger, and today in my boudoir on my couch, I have the feminist icon, the advocate for the world, for the queer community. She's absolutely amazing. Please put your feet, your toes, your twinkles together for Olivia Moss of the Future Female Project. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm excited about this. Thanks for asking me.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. You are so wonderful. We have had such beautiful conversations and I cannot wait to share it with you all at home. So you grew up in Manchester?
I did. The beautiful north.
Fellow northerner.
Yeah,
how was that? How was that growing up lesbian? Like, what was your journey?
Yeah, I think I feel very lucky. I think it was a brilliant place to grow up in the late 90s as queer or, you know, gay baby, whatever, like Baby Dyke.
Yeah.
You know, it was just in the time of Queer as Folk was out there, and you know, the gay village that time, Canal Street, was just full of beautiful people. It was amazing. The bars are iconic. We had Manto, which is, you know, sadly gone a long time ago. It was a beautiful bar. And then we had Paradise Factory for the girls, very friendly place. Yeah, so I did my, I guess, gay upbringing.
In the queer, in like the best, most iconic era of Manchester queer history, I was obsessed with Queer as Folk. It was so cool.
Yeah, very like hot and bothered scenes in there, still brilliant. I've rewatched it recently and it's still amazing.
Like, I know we're not like, I love the freedom of it all, but there was something about, you know, the little like behind the scenes, like, you know, the bit like, it added a certain like je ne sais quoi to it, didn't it? I mean,
yeah, it's still very naughty. I mean, like we were saying earlier, like the American version, great, but just didn't quite nail it, I don't think. Because I think that was a very specific era in Manchester.
The
history.
coolness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The coolness, it was really cool. I mean, I think I remember the first time I got taken there as baby gay, and I wasn't like really that confident out. And I got taken to Manto. I think that was the first bar I got taken to, and I remember just being completely overwhelmed. It was so gorgeous, and you properly felt nervous because there were just such beautiful people in there.
Yeah.
The bar was extremely long. There was that staircase on both sides. It just felt like, God, you're in a really special place.
And the music was amazing.
Oh,
and the fashion and like,
everything.
what was it, like Sexy Boy? With the Air song that was on it, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. The soundtrack's great.
Oh, the soundtrack is great.
Yeah, I know. I really miss that era. It's changed a lot since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in those days it was fantastic. I mean, so I came out when I used to work at this theme park that was attached to Granada TV at the time.
A theme park?
Yeah. And
Tell me more.
yeah, so it was just a weekend job or whatever it started off as, and then as soon as I walked in, I was just surrounded by so many queer people who really embracing, brought me up really well, took me out, outed me.
Oh really?
Yeah, and it was great because it was very dress up. There was there's Coronation Street set rebuilt there, so guests could come and wander around, meet some of the cast, and then there was some rides and things like that we used to have to dress up for.
What rides?
So,
and what did you dress up as?
As a Detroit cop for the
Detroit cop?
the RoboCop ride.
On the RoboCop ride.
The seats just moved a bit, wasn't it?
Amazing. Did you keep the cuffs?
Actually, I think I might have a pair of
Did
cuffs
you?
on. Yeah, I think I've stored them somewhere. Yeah. So yeah, we used to faux arrest people in the queue. And
How fun!
make them do press ups and stuff because the queue was a bit long.
Did you like the power?
Did go to the head a little.
Did it?
Yeah. And then in the evenings we used to just go drinking in Canal Street, and that was my life for a while before uni.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you went to Cambridge, am I right?
Yeah, Cambridge.
Your parents must have been very proud of you.
Oh, tiger mum. So yeah, I got in. Was expecting an extension of what I'd experienced in Manchester, but it was really a different world. I mean, it's a very villagey place, very old school in those days. There weren't really. I did feel like the only gay in the village. Yeah, and there was a queer club, but it really had only a few women in it. I didn't really learn a lot there about my queerness.
What was it called? It's not Doc Cotton's, is it?
Oh, no. When I say queer club, I mean like a queer meetup. There wasn't actually. I think there was only one bar called the Town and Gown. I think it's still there.
The Town and Gown.
And I went there, and it was like something out of a weird episode of The Young Ones or something. There was just nobody there apart from this elderly guy sat at the bar, and that was it.
I mean, I don't want to cast.
A bunch of us walked in. It was all a bit odd.
I don't want to cast aspersions, but I don't know. Some of the provincial gay bars can be. Less so now, I think, but back in the day, they were a bit.
Yeah, it just
shady.
wasn't. Yeah, I think as I said, I was lucky that I was in Manchester, and that was 4 years of me being in the closet, really. Kind of uni stuff.
Really?
That wasn't great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got my first kiss there.
Oh, you did? Tell me about her.
So yeah, it was this girl. Actually, it was quite a weird story if I think about it now. So I got picked up in a library.
In the library? Yeah. This is so cute. How?
I was just studying.
Yeah.
Nerd. Yeah. And this girl came into the room. There was a segmented room in my library, and she just kept hovering behind me, and I was like, oh my god, who's this person? Just get out. And then all of a sudden she just started randomly chatting to me, and then she started leaving me little cute notes in my little post box.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
And that was cute. I was a bit confused because it was all very confusing as to whether this was a gay thing going on or just a friendly person.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was asking me out to the museum. This sounds so nice.
Oh, I love it.
Asking me out to the art
wholesome.
gallery. And then was should we go to the cinema? So we went on these dates where I was just when you really fancy somebody and you're young and you're just oh my god, butterflies. And yeah, we went to see the what's that Peter Greenaway movie, The Pillow. Oh sorry, I've just forgotten, with Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
Somebody will know. Anyway, so I got taken to that, and then on the way home in the middle of the street, just kind of started making out wildly.
Who initiated it?
I can't actually.
You can't remember?
But
was it good?
Oh, it was amazing.
Oh, that first gay
kiss.
It
kind of made me feel yes, I'm definitely.
Because you feel the magic, don't you? The butterflies, and it's it's so human. I think my first gay kiss was the thing that made me think, know that this is who I am, and this is magical, and this is amazing, because it wouldn't feel that incredible and that pure, and if it wasn't born this way, if it wasn't gifted to us from wherever we're gifted from. you know.
I think it's a relief as well, because if you know deep down you're not, you just can't. I mean, I was making out with guys at the time, so it's not like I wasn't doing anything, but I just never had that feeling before.
Yeah.
Right. I think you know then.
Yeah.
It just, everything's resolved then. Then you're like,
Yeah,
okay, I know what I know now.
Yeah.
So what about you though?
What about me? What do you want to know?
Your steamy first kiss?
Oh, I mean, it was. I grew up in foster care, and it was the guy who was also there in the foster house with me, same age. We were about 14 years old, and I'm pretty sure he was straight, and he was just experimenting with me because I was effeminate, and he knew that I'd probably be up for it, and he was right. And we had a little peck, and I felt all the magic and the butterflies, and the next day he like started bullying me, and I had to like move homes, and it was like a whole thing. But you know, I mean, and then there was it became a running theme, if I'm perfectly honest, and I'm sharing. I had a lot of like experiences with straight guys who came on to me actually, and they would use me for their experimentation and then throw me to the curb, and it was never me like chasing them or anything like that. And I guess it stems from like, I don't know, abuse by straight men as a kid, and me sort of trying to reclaim some power, but then I got wise to my unhealthy ways, and was celibate for 1.5 years. I said to the universe, you can't do this anymore. If you want to meet somebody and have a relationship of substance, I'm going to keep myself celibate. The next man I kiss will be my husband. And it was. Kept myself nice. I did.
You found your prince.
I did find my prince.
I
know. But he's wonderful. And your advocacy is so inspiring to me. You've done such amazing things. So inspiring, like you know, working alongside Pussy Riot.
Yeah, that was a lot. That's back in the days when they initially got jailed, the 3 significant ones. So significant, the high profile ones. And I noticed it happening, but it wasn't really in mainstream news that much. And then Kathleen Hanna, the lead singer of La Tigra and some other cool bands as well, had gone online and posted a video, and I saw that of like saying, look, the music community, the arts community, everybody needs to like get together and take a stand against what's happening in Moscow. And I just got inspired and thought, hang on, you know, I've been doing various events and activities with a lot of artists, but not really with a political edge. And then I just contacted them all in London, and we had a member of a band from Canada even like came over and did a special set, and they were on tour. So yeah, we got a bunch of different people together to be on these lineups in London, Tokyo, Manchester, which is a 3-day festival in Manchester actually. Oh, wow. And there was a documentary that came out around the same time as well about the girls. So we showed that documentary was brand new as well. So we worked with the Labour Party, a bunch of international artists. We got we got video support messages, actually I was thinking about this earlier, from artists that are dead now actually. So like Jane Birkin, for example, people like this were providing, you know, supportive messages. We got a message from Patti Smith, for example, and some other people. Yeah, so it was like a really magical time on the one hand, really dark time on the other, that, you know, 3 girls were actually in jail, and one of them got released, the other 2 got separated into gulags, the Russian prisons in the middle of Siberia, and that was it. We just thought, okay, they're gone now.
And they're lawless prisons, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's just, nobody wants to end up in any of those places. So, and then we just thought, okay, we've put a lot into this, there's not a lot more that can be done, it's high profile now, you know, the news channels were carrying it, but there wasn't really a lot that anyone could do anymore.
For those that don't know what Pussy Riot did and how their advocacy worked. Could you explain a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
so these three girls, I say girls, women, were part of a group called Pussy Riot. They were arts activists, or they are arts activists, and they performed with balaclavas, so they were not easily identifiable. They did a protest dance performance in a well-known church in Moscow, got arrested. They videoed the whole thing so for the world to see, because they knew they were going to end up in prison. But I think in their mind they were thinking, right, we might just have a few years in jail, but they became like an irritation for the government. So they just ended up being heavily punished. I think their final sentencing was actually 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah, and then they ended up in the gulags. And we were doing these events to try and keep it in the headlines and unite people. And just when we were giving up, actually, that's when they got released. And that was just very fortunate for them. Because there'd been, the Sochi Olympics were due, and he was wanting to make a symbolic gesture and release some political prisoners. So very fortunately, the timing worked out where they got out, and that's when I kind of burned out as an activist. And that wasn't pure queer activism, but that was definitely a strong part of it, because a lot of the Pussy Riot's campaigning was pro-LGBTQ at the time, because they were getting ready for Russia to start bringing in these very strict laws. So that was back then, and now we look at what's going on now in the world, and it's a really different world from then.
Yes, there's a lot going on right now, unfortunately. Yeah, tilting the way we don't want it to go. And you also did advocacy in Tokyo, am I correct?
Yeah, actually I started learning my advocacy over there.
Yeah, so you were in Tokyo first, and then you did the Pussy Riot.
Yeah, and then did stuff over here, which is quite backwards really. But I think when I first came out as gay, I wasn't having a relationship straight away. I was like learning gayness through culture and history and community, and I found
beautiful.
It was lucky, because rather than going straight into it with a relationship or dating, I kind of always had something to come back to that connects me to the gay community. It taught me also that being queer is not just about your sexuality in the strictest sense, in the sense of that you have to be dating somebody or engaging with people for you to assert your identity. There's more to being queer than who you're with. Although in an ideal world, like you were saying earlier about partnership, it should go hand in hand, really, your friendships and your partnerships and everything.
But the community is so important. It's, and that's what you learnt in Tokyo.
Yeah, so I was really lucky. So I did a dissertation at uni on the lesbian community in Tokyo as part of my degree. And I was being told by the professors at Cambridge that lesbians don't exist in Japan, so you're going to have a hard time. So I think I was the last student in my class to have the dissertation approved, because they weren't even sure if there was anything to report on. And that really shocked me for a world-class university. But I think it was just at that time like an underdeveloped area of research. And so I kind of made it my personal mission when I went over there to get inside that world. And I was really like just learning the language, not really that confident. And then bumped into this woman called Chu, who was doing herself a lot of community work. And so when I ended up moving over to Tokyo, I needed a place to stay. I ended up staying with her, not for a short period, for like 8 months. And then she was running an international helpline for queers and lesbians. It was called the International Dyke Community Hotline or something. And then she would get me to answer the calls in English, and she would answer the phone calls in Japanese, and we would just tag team. And then if they needed showing around, we just used to show them around Tokyo, take them to events. And it was a very clever way that she had of connecting everybody.
Where was it advertised?
In a local rag, just the local.
What, just like her phone?
Local magazine.
Like just her phone number?
Yeah,
like
just her in the days of, like, before mobile phones really and social media. She just put her, I think she put an email address and her home number in
And
there.
her home number.
Yeah. So we used to like
so
just pick
brave.
up the phone, to
Amazing.
like drunk straight men breathing down the phone or asking us to hang out. So yeah, it was quite interesting. And then,
I bet.
Yeah, she carried on doing loads of stuff. In fact, she built a bar at one point. That was quite popular for a long time too. So she kind of like went from one project to another, and I think I got really influenced by that and really inspired by that. Is that one person can be such a ball of energy and have so many ideas. She taught me guitar as well.
Did she?
Yeah, so my, like, this sounds very lesbian, but my love for acoustic guitar playing comes from the fact that she had loads of guitars in her flat.
I love it. I've got one downstairs, darling. We can have a strum on it later.
We can.
It sounds like she was like your house mother.
She really was.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I was really inspired by the Tales of the City stories as well, of the idea
I love
of
those books.
Yeah, the idea of like found family and everyone having their own stories of how they've ended up in a place. It was a bit like that.
Tales of the City, Armistead Maupin. The books are amazing. The TV show is great as well. Read it. It's based in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Again, in the really amazing days back then. Yeah, and it takes you through all the eras, but. Yeah, it was really odd to be suddenly thrust into this environment where I was living that story, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was community for me, and I learned event management skills through that.
Right.
While I was doing day jobs in that country. And there were a lot of American people in that community too, so obviously I was learning from them as well, their advocacy, because I felt like in so many ways they were a few steps ahead, really, of the Brits in some ways in their advocacy. And definitely in Japan was really slow at that time and still is. So I was like trying to like learn from them while I was doing all these things. And then it led me to build my own support group called Tokyo Amazons that I did in the local HIV centre. That was right in the centre of the Tokyo gay community, well, the gay bar district called Nichome, yeah, and that's got like, they reckon like 400-ish gay bars and that, like high-rise buildings.
I'm booking my flight. Hold on, see you later, carry on as you were.
That's the end of that. Yeah, but they're not accessible to everyone. They're very strictly managed. So unless you know somebody, there's a big mafia presence. That makes me want
to go more.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, right.
And if you know, the more people you know locally, the more likely you are to get into spaces, and they make sure you understand the rules of behaviour. They've got drag bars there as well.
What are the rules?
Oh, so I mean, it's ideal if you can speak a bit of Japanese, even if you're trying. So that, you know, as long as you can pick up a bit of, you know, basic hello, nice to meet you, terminology, things like that. When you go into these bars, it kind of, they like you to show effort. Yeah. You know, even if it's on, you know, just that level. You have to be very humble when you go in. You can't go in like, you know, like
get the shots out. Where's the DJ? Put some Britney on. No. Not like that.
And there are some international bars that are obviously much more open. So it is a good idea to be taken there by somebody who lives there or who knows the ropes. There's quite a few lesbian bars there. I think there's around 20 or so. Wow. I think that's also quite a lot for a city in the world at the moment.
That feels like the most bars I've ever heard of in any city.
It might be the most.
But you gotta know, you know, and you're Japanese British, right?
So my mum's Japanese, my dad's English. So it's kind of a world of its own. It's a bit of a ghetto. Okay. But it's exciting in that sense because once you've gone in there, once you know a few people,
you're in there.
You're kind of in. Yeah.
How fun!
So that was like an interesting experience in my life, like to go from a very famous gay city to a city that on a day-to-day level is quite closeted. Yeah. It's not illegal to be gay in Japan, but socially it's like frowned upon. Okay. So there are plenty of gay people, trans people, non-binary people there who dress down, like dress heterosexual during the week, and then obviously
that surprises me because like I I don't know. I like you see the Harajuku and you see like the wild fashions, but is that separate to like queer dressing? Like I guess it's still binary, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's difficult to like really separate them completely because there's a lot of dress up, so there is an overlap.
Right.
But you know, like self-expression, all that. Japan is a very conformist country, so any kind of wild self-expression, whether it's Harajuku or...
They don't like that then?
No, it's like it can become problematic.
Really?
Yeah, if you have another part of your character that that you want to express. I mean, it's not encouraged really in Japan. I think it's getting a little better with the younger generations, but there is a slight overlap, between like the campy straight world, you know, and the campy queer world. Exactly. And Nicho made the gay area has like opened up quite a bit compared to like 15, 20 years ago. So it's got loads of tourists now, for example, coming to it. So, and it's definitely become more commercialised. So that overlap is getting a bit better.
Yeah.
But then they're getting other issues coming into the gay bar area, and so the more overtly people are expressing themselves, the more attacks they're getting from the straight. They're getting more gay bashing going on, stuff like this. They're having
I feel
to
like
be more,
this isn't too overt, isn't it? Just beads and feathers.
I mean, I guess you could work in a Japanese office.
I've had to like attach the mic to the side of my hair. You said I looked like a Britney cyborg, didn't you?
Yeah.
I was like the beads of it all was too much.
It's all very Star Trek.
Star Trek is so queer, especially
especially the new gens.
Yeah. So you
could be an extra.
Could I? An extra?
Sorry. Awful.
There's homophobia happening on the pod.
You see, these are the issues inside the queer community that we need to resolve. Lesbians being mean to the queens.
We deserve it.
So, I think it's a fascinating culture because it's on the one hand extremely expressive, extremely camp, and on the other hand extremely conservative, extremely straight. And I do think, Japan is also going through its own transition. I mean, it's been touted as being the last Asian country that will adopt same-sex marriage.
Oh, really? Because we just got Thailand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
that surprises me. In Taiwan, that surprises me. I would have thought somewhere like North Korea or China would be like the last.
North Korea probably will be.
Sure, North Korea will be after Japan.
I don't think North Korea will go that way. That's probably that's why it's been.
That's why it's not on there, and that's why China's not on the thing.
Probably.
Okay,
similar,
got it.
Whereas in the, democratic parts, let's say, of Asia...
sure.
Japan's in the G7, for example.
It
would be, I think they're saying it's probably the last one to...
That's the hopeful gay in me. That's why I like musicals. I just want a happy ending for us all.
Yeah, actually, when I was living there was their first out lesbian politician, Otsuchi, was really loud and proud in the queer community, was... at the forefront of Pride. They had their first trans local representative, for example. So there's a lot of change going on in Tokyo, especially in Osaka. The community is really working hard. It's just the government. I mean, it's always the way, isn't it? Very stuffy. It's always the same party every time. I think they're going to struggle getting legislation through. But...
And you are a real advocate for community.
All community,
All community,
probably,
yeah. For holding space for that, for bringing the community together, to raise the vibration. And do you think we need more of that whilst everything is going on? Do you think it's something that we need to come together?
I do. I mean, I think anyone who doesn't think we need to come together is not really in the real
paying
world.
attention.
Yeah, paying attention. Because there's a lot going on. Not so much here in your face, although we've talked about this in terms of the mood is changing in the country, on the streets, and on public transport and things like that.
Shall we just have a pre-warning to the watchers and the listeners? We're going to mention the orange one.
trigger warning.
The trigger warning. That's what it's called. Trump. That has just happened. Like 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the things that have gone through with that. And I know you were talking about you feel like there's going to be a rise in hate crimes and people being galvanized by his nonsense and
his rhetoric and executive orders. Yeah. I think it would be, I mean, I hope not, but I would be surprised if there's not a rise, like a spike in hate crime in certain parts of the States, yeah. Because, I mean, especially if you were suddenly released out of prison, over 1,000 people who have been jailed for calling out the Constitution and, you know, basically inciting violence and being violent, and they're being pardoned, being called upstanding citizens, then this doesn't set a great tone, first of all. But then all the other things that have been popping out of his mouth the last couple of days since he got in power are pretty terrifying, like the two genders policy, wiping out the existence of HIV on their government website. You know, it just looks like the groundwork's being made for a dystopian few years.
And with the, I'm not going to do I'm not going to do the Elon salute.
That was just
not once, but twice. It's giving fascism.
It is giving fascism.
It's giving fascism.
I know he's tried to dig himself out of that.
You can't dig yourself out of that.
Yeah, his
I'm
own
sorry.
trans daughter has said that you can't dig yourself out.
No,
of
absolutely not.
You know,
and it feels like our community are being the ones that are being attacked, like in the way that like Hitler went for the Jews.
Yeah,
it feels like
easy
we're
targets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'd like to like sit here and say to the younger generations, it's going to be fine because we've been here before. You guys can.
We haven't been here
trust
before.
in us.
Not in our lifetime.
No.
We haven't been here before. This is a real shift. And do we need to be prepared? I feel like we do.
I think we do need to be prepared. I think that in terms of what steps to take, I do think solidarity within our own community is very important first. Before we, well, not before, but at the same time as reaching outside of our community. I think we need to be very mindful of the kids or the people who could be vulnerable within our community and the segments of our community that are extremely vulnerable. People in transition, you know, kids who are just learning their queerness and their identity, and you know, that we really
seeing
have to,
all this hate online. Can you imagine?
really damaging.
Can you imagine growing up I had abuse for being, you know, the fagotia of it all, and you know they were just jealous or didn't understand it, and the fear and you know whatever. It was about them, not moi. But I had it at home, at school, on the streets, but on social media as well, and seeing it all over the world, and like all this sort of like clickbait that the algorithms know you're going to be into because it knows it's going to trigger you, and it knows that you're LGBTQ, and then the AI bots like doing all the like disgusting, like the stuff you read is like, look, it upsets me, and it like jars my energy, and I can only like have it in bite-sized portions, and I have to like, and I'm like constantly like deleting Facebook because it's just, you know, and I know it's trolls under a bridge, and I know it's the those ones throwing the stones in the town square and all of that, but it doesn't make it any easier. But growing up as a young queer person, when you're a sponge and you're still trying to find your identity, the shame, the fear,
I mean, it does like bring up a lot of bad memories, doesn't it?
It does.
Various really awful, high-profile hate crime moments. You know, in American history, in our own history, the Matthew Shepard moments, and all that kind. You know, all those things that still go on in our societies. But if you think about that, escalated and greenlit by government. That's what really
head of state,
me.
like the sort of like the the mouthpiece, if you like, for the Western world.
I mean, wiping out diversity departments and policies in companies and institutions and education facilities is really concerning.
It's very concerning.
I don't think we've ever seen. I don't think we've ever seen things go back so fast.
No.
And I think it's the rapidity of it. And as you say, as the things are being announced, it's all going out online, boom, boom, boom. And so it is going to make people feel anxious in the queer community over there. There are places where it is already unsafe to be out queer. So I can't even imagine how those people are feeling right now. So yeah, I definitely think we have to pull together. And I definitely think that those of us who are safe, you know, in our own communities or have the life experience to lend support or words of advice or help to organise events,
create safe spaces, bring community together, galvanise, come together.
That I can't think of a better time to do that, honestly speaking.
Yeah, I think that is a beautiful thing to do. I know you were telling me about you're creating WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, so we started meeting anyway at the end of last year in Manchester. The Flint lesbian community some event organisers, DJs, creative technicians started having regular meetups, just socials, to meet each other in person, because we all know of each other, but a lot of people don't actually know each other personally. To share experiences, ideas. You know, it's handy because then you're kind of skill building as well along the way. Some people are doing things for the first time, for example, and we want to carry that on to London. We've talked about doing an episode of that in London, and just I think it's not because of what's going on in the States that we're doing it. I think it's just something that the community was needing anyway. A lot of Flint and women's like lesbian spaces have been disappearing, and it's just really hard to afford to get permanent space, etc. So I think to just kind of like all be in touch with each other and help each other out, you know, with marketing, or I kind of come from those roots of like community spirit, and although you know everyone has their own opinion, everyone has their own ways of doing things. Of course, we don't all have to do the same thing. We don't all have to be, you know, advocating to the same community. You know, but I think it's important that we support each other in what we're doing.
I think it's amazing.
You know? Yeah, we're going to see how it goes. We hope that you know it will work in London, and then we'll just people want to pick up the concept. We're calling it Finga, Finga.
Yeah.
So basically, Flint Industry Network Group app. Yeah. Cheesy, but it's memorable.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
We also separately did an event on Saturday, Hot Pants versus Pantsuits Party. A few days before.
That was my invite. Got some Kylie Gold hot pants back there, darling.
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
It was a test event, really, but we wanted to do it in time for the inauguration. We did it at the RVT, the Royal Vauxhall Tavern Institution. Yeah. Beautiful venue to do something like this in. Had 4 brilliant DJs, 2 from Manchester. Tahita Bulma, NYPC, Icon. We did like a dress code, outfit, off, competition. Hot pants versus pantsuit.
Oh, who won?
Someone in a pantsuit.
A pantsuit?
Yeah, a pantsuit won.
Oh, was it an 80s pantsuit?
It was a jumpsuit, so there's controversy now. Does a jumpsuit qualify as a pantsuit?
I'm not sure. Does it?
Does it? Answers in the comments.
A jumpsuit. What is like the difference? I feel like a pantsuit is more tailored.
It is.
Yeah.
It's strictly not a pantsuit, so that was a controversial winner. But it's fine. Yeah.
But it was a really good jumpsuit then.
It was fun.
What was so fun about it?
The colour. It was a garish green colour that nobody needs to wear ever again. So we did that. We had a raffle. It was a community thing. We had loads of young people there as well. It was cute. Yeah. So we're hopefully going to do it again, maybe at the Divine this time.
Love the Divine. You're picking great venues.
Trying.
Succeeding. They're like two of my favourites in London.
Yeah, we want to do it in spaces that understand the cause, that the tagline is united on the dance floor. We're not only doing dance music, but the idea is to be in a club atmosphere and bring community together, break all the barriers down within our own queer community, less of the infighting, more of the partying, you know, that kind of thing. And it's nice, you know, a lot of people who were there wouldn't normally be in the same event. It's weird, isn't it? You'd like to think that all those barriers were like dropped, but you know, no. We still need to work on it.
Why do you think that is? Why is there still those barriers?
The divisions. I think probably, I understand it. There's a need for like asserting your identity in your own community, and everybody does need that. I mean, yeah. Right. You want your own stamp on who you are and who your peeps are. So I understand the segregational, you know, aspect of it. I think for the Flinter lesbian crowd, especially the trans element of that Flinter movement, they, you know, the safe space thing is a real thing. It's a real thing.
A real thing.
Yeah, and I think in some venues, London, Manchester specifically, I'm thinking about, there are some incidents where people really don't feel safe, and you know, depending on what the door policy is on the day or the venue, you know,
and they let the wrong people in.
They let the wrong people in. Then there's really scary stuff going on in their space. I mean, spiking in Manchester, for example, is a really big problem in these spaces as well. So
by like straight men.
Yeah, mostly by straight men. And there was a really weird thing actually that happened, I think it was about a year ago, where I was in a bar and just was looking out the window in the gay village in Manchester, and I saw these two girls walking along, and I was like, oh, how cute, lesbian couple. And then one of them fell on the ground, and I was like, oh, something's going on. Yeah. But it was quite early evening, so it was like a bit odd to be completely drunk. So we walked out, and it turned out this girl had been spiked in the bar that they'd just walked from. Then we called an ambulance, and then my friend went with that girl to the hospital just to double check that she's okay, and she was quite delirious, and then we said, look, we'll call somebody that you know, just let them know that you're here. She accessed her phone and then found all these messages from what we assumed was a straight guy to the girl's phone.
This is a queer girl?
I don't know, and it looked like it had been a setup.
A setup?
Where the guy had sent the girl had accidentally spiked herself, drunk the wrong drink that was meant for the girl she just picked up in a bar, because these two girls just met each other in a bar. And she drank her own spiked drink by accident. It's very strange what happened, but I've heard of these situations where some groups of guys do send girls, in this case, into gay bars and pick up somebody to take back. I've heard rumours of this, but I think when that happened...
Are we talking like human trafficking type thing or something like that? Just like what?
It's really scary.
What is wrong with these people?
I don't know. Like, I do feel like we have to be so careful. We need to review like how safe
door policies and
in queer bars, and I think that has also added, I think, to the element of safety concerns for certain vulnerable.
I want queer bouncers only.
It would be great.
I don't know if it's doable, but like at least or one who is the head of like their head bouncer and like looks after like because I don't know, I see a lot of like straight bouncers at some venues of which I will not name, and
So, you know, Manchester, back in the day when I was going there, they used to have a really strict door policy where they actually would ask you to your face, are you gay? I mean, it was completely basic. And kind of ridiculous in a way when you look back, but I kind of get now why that was happening.
I get it. So they used to do it at the Astoria.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I only let allies in, and you should be able to hopefully tell the difference. It's the energy of somebody, and like I don't know.
Yeah, I think there was a period of time when door staff were better trained in like reading who looked like they belonged and who didn't, and I feel like we're not in that era anymore. Yeah. I'm not trying to knock door staff. I'm just saying that I've had some bad experiences.
Yeah, and I've heard of a lot of bad experiences as well, and I know of
a few places. I mean, I think that's what's created a bit of division in that zone. And I think that within the Flinter lesbian community, there's, you know, various issues going on with, the inclusion of trans people, trans-identified people, that, you know, the whole TERF issue that's going on. That is really concerning as well,
Yeah.
and that's like an ongoing problem. I think. I don't think that's not the only divisions that are going on. I think there's been a bit of a breakdown all round, and you know, there was a time and an era where gay men would, for example, be a lot more involved in politics, a lot more like aware and welcoming of other people into their spaces, and there seems to be a bit of a pushback going on in some spaces where they don't want any women at all, or you know, they want to kind of protect their space as well. So I kind of understand why these things are happening, but I kind of can see also what the impacts of that is on the wider community.
I don't like it. I know of I'm not going to say which venue it was, but there's a venue that I went to in drag, and they didn't let me in because I was in drag. And they're like, no, is it just gay men only? I was like...
But that doesn't...
What?
That doesn't prevent you from being a gay man just because you're in drag. How does that...
Well, no, because I wasn't patriarchally masculine presenting.
I think that's what's really going on. Probably.
Yeah, and it's like, I just think we're just better together. We always have been, and it's like, you know, getting back to that. Keeping the vibration high, talking, like loving.
Focusing more on what keeps us together, what things we have in common.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing, the common enemy, I don't know, that's a strong word, but the enemy is out there. If I call it heterosexuality, I don't. But I just mean it's like like people who are homophobic, people who are transphobic, people who don't serve our community from the outside. Like, we need to remember that we are the ones that can address the issues within our community the best, and that we're best served to address those concerns ourselves and cross those boundaries amongst each other, listen, ask questions, understand, educate ourselves about what's going on with other people within our community, be humble, be compassionate. We do need to, I think, go back to grassroots a little bit more. Grassroots. It's very northern. I think it's so easy on social media just to like type a few words and tear people to pieces, and you know, I think we do need to step back a bit and go, look, there's a wider picture here. Look what's going on in the States. Look what's going on in Russia. Let's just get things in a bit of perspective. There are things in our country, in our cities, that are still a concern, like safety on public transport, things like that. You know, safety in the streets. And focus on those things that we can do better together with.
And no, you're right. The common thread that we all understand as members of the community is the pain that we go through and that we see, and that is the thing that bonds us, and also the history of our community. We are family, and if we're not going to stand up for each other, then how the hell do we expect anyone else to? We've got to care for our own first and be an example of that.
And also becoming like overlapping with other causes, like, you know, there was an era, and there still is, like Black Lives Matter, like understanding that people of colour also have like within our own community have an extremely hard time, and depending on what, you know, where they are based, and in general, you know, as a minority within a minority, really. You know, we have to be very mindful of things like this too, about generation gaps as well within our own community. That again would be nice to tie those, you know, like loose ends together a bit more.
Look after our elders as well,
and you know, somehow find ways to pass on the wisdom and the experiences of older people. I'm not saying that every older queer has things right or sorted. I'm just saying that they have something to offer in terms of their experiences. And,
I feel like everybody has something to offer if they are loved enough, educated enough, and cultured enough, and are open enough. How do you think we get everyone there? Everyone, but like, how do you think it's? I always try and do the whole like,
it's It's a really good question.
There's the ripple effect of like everybody I meet, like every like straight person I meet, in in Hackney, it's very diverse. There's a lot of cultures. There's a lot of like masculine cultures and things like that. And I'm like superly overly friendly and nice and make chat in like a relaxed way, not like an intense way, or maybe it is. Where I'm like, hi, love me, please, But like, I'm like, you're right, mate. How you going? And, I'll always like thank the bus driver, thanks, mate, and and always try to make an effort and create those small like little ripple effects, and to only put out things on social media that I think is going to raise the vibration rather than complaining about things and sharing negative things, unless it's like, sign this petition to help the community for something from like All Out Org, or like Rainbow Railroads to help the community at large, or like, the BLM movement, anything like that. I think that's like something that I feel like I have control over.
I think it's good also for your mental health to actually engage in community work, whether it's local. Local is great because then you're like actually seeing directly the fruits of your labour in a sense, because you actually see things evolving, community centres or events and stuff like. But when you signing petitions for really big things, for things globally, even in following what movements that are going on in other countries and things like, and showing support, I think all of this makes you feel like you're connected to the world, and you are witnessing it, and you are trying to be on the right side of history, so to speak. So I think it's great. How much of it has a direct impact on really what's going on, I think it's very hard to say.
It's really hard.
I think if you asked anyone in any of the major movements, they would struggle to answer that question too, unless they really got something specific to show you what, like, legislation changes.
I've got something specific.
Okay.
There's a chap at my newsagent's, and I've been here.
Where is this going?
Well, it's just around the corner, and it's like, and I've lived in this area now for like in this property for like 2 years, and he's been a hard nut to crack. He is like just. He doesn't make eye contact with anybody. Is very like introverted. Doesn't really seem like he's enjoying it. Just very cross and grumpy. But I finally got there after about 2 years of like small talks and like different topics and things. And the thing that we finally bonded over was he's really into the climate. So now we always have a little climate chat. Yeah, I tried everything, little nuggets of this and that, and tried to make him laugh and trying to, and the climate, yeah. If you go in there with your tote bag, he loves that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, he's a fan of that. He commented on tote bags I had. I was like, you get them at things, and and I was like, I mean, have you got a big collection of tote bags?
Yeah, way too many to the events and stuff.
Right.
I feel so bad. I'm not really trying to use them now or give them away.
I put like one in like every single bag that I own, so that I always have a tote.
Yeah, it's handy as well.
Yeah.
No, I think seeing exactly, this is a good point actually, is engaging with people directly, because that's a form of direct action. Yeah. Actually, I remember the Pussy Riot event we did in Manchester. A priest turned up on the doorstep, and I got called over by the doorstep, and they were like, "Oh, there's a guy on the door. He says he's a priest. He's not allowed to come in." And I was like, "What do you mean he's not allowed to come in?" Said, "Oh, because of the theme of what we're doing, church and state, Pussy Riot, all that kind of stuff." Because it was like what they did was considered to be blasphemy, right? So, and he can't come in, but he's really interested in what we're doing. So I went to the door and I was like, "Oh goodness me, right, let's see how this goes."
Was he in the garb?
No.
Just so dramatic. I'm like setting the scene in my head. I'm like,
no, just in his raincoat. But he was so nice, and we stood there for a really long time. I don't think it was an hour, but it was long. Yeah. And I had an event to run, but I made a point of standing with him, because I respected the fact that he felt he couldn't pay in, to participate, because it was against his beliefs, in a sense. But then we got into a conversation. He wanted to know exactly what was going on with the girls, like like where were they being kept, like are they safe in prison, like what's that, how are they doing, and he really wanted to learn more about what was actually going on and what we were doing at the
Sounds
event.
like he cared, and he was open to learning.
He was open-minded, and then when we got to the end of the conversation, I said, it's fine, you don't have to come in, but it's just if you want to stand here and just sort of feel like you're part of it, not really, you know, just in a safe space. So he stayed for a little bit, and then he said to me on the way out, he said, you know what, I do have some members of my flock, if you want to call it that.
Come on, the flock.
Who are gay, queer, I think. Yeah. And I feel like, you know, I really want to talk about this tomorrow, about how I was conflicted. But I'm really glad that I came because I feel like I've learned something, and I really need to I need to educate myself better on what's going on. And I need to be more mindful of the members of my community that maybe need my support. So, you know, because we were talking about queer rights over there as well in Russia, and that, you know, they were, part of the protest they did was to support queer people in their country. So yeah, it's turning points like this. And I had another one because I did a 3-day feminist workshop. That was the longest workshop I've ever done. It was like morning till night, 3 days over the weekend in Lushing, Oxford Street, trying to teach people about feminism. It was absolutely exhausting, but so interesting. And I remember this Italian guy come in with his girlfriend, and we had a little questionnaire that we wanted everyone to fill in. It was just 4 sentences. And the top one was, I'm a feminist because, and then you put whatever the reason was. And comedy answers or real answers, doesn't matter. And then we pinned them up like a gallery over them. He looked at it and he was like, well, I'm not a feminist, so I can't fill this in. And he stayed for 3 hours in the store debating with me.
That he wasn't?
With his girlfriend standing next to him, like her eyes like boring into the side of his head, you know. And then he said, I really want to fill this in, but I can't because I don't see myself as a feminist. So then we got into a whole conversation about it. And by the end, because I was asking him about, you know, how would you feel like, because I was trying to make him understand what feminism is.
It's something, this happens to your mother,
this happens to your
mum,
mum, exactly, or wife, your girlfriend. And it turned out that they both worked at the same firm, and she was being overlooked for promotions, whereas he was getting like up the ladder. And anyway, they got into their own conversation as well, where she was pretty miffed at him saying, I definitely am not getting ahead as fast as you because I'm female. And so they would just, so by the end of it, he did fill it in because he said, oh, I guess I might be a feminist.
Okay. I might be. It was closer than he was.
Closer than he was.
You've got to break bread with the enemy,
sometimes,
like with the, or people with opposing views. It's the way to, otherwise you just create more division if you're not, you know, prepared to do that.
It's very easy to just shut people out and say you're not my people, blah blah blah, and they might not be. Like, they might be people with very different views from you, and
well, they don't have to be your BFFs. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
no,
but
I think I learnt this though with my family, because my family's not that supportive of gay rights or queer rights. So I think I kind of learnt the hard way with that there's a way of dealing with people around you without alienating them necessarily. Like
that part.
Like, I don't want to I don't want to do the same as they are doing. It's the easy route, isn't it?
It's the art of conversation, isn't it? And the conflict management, and Do you have tips for that for people?
In your day-to-day lives? I think asking questions is always good. Like, if you feel uncomfortable, as long as you're safe, first of all, you're physically in a safe space to do this. But I think if you're feeling the need to, as you said, break bread, find a common thread between the two of you, but allow each other to have different views. I think asking each other questions is the perfect way of doing it. Asking people why they feel that way. Do they have questions for you? Because that's often sometimes they're misunderstanding some things, or they're assuming things about a demographic, you know, and I think the more information, more accurate information people get, the better.
Do you have questions for me is such a good one.
I think it's a bit scary because then, you know, the person's gonna ask you quite strange, awkward, or whatever questions.
But I think it's like a sign of respect as well. So do you have questions for me? And I think it shows strength of character and that you're open to hold space for them to
But that's not
learn.
easy to do when you're young. That conversation. I don't. Yeah, if I think of myself as a young person, like 20s, still finding my feet, you know, as a queer person, as a person in general, like in life. Yeah, exactly. I don't think I was capable of it.
Oh, me neither.
No.
I'd be like, you know, like, you mom! How dare you? You know, like, just, you know.
Yeah, and I think
growing up is, like, low-key amazing.
Like, oh my God, I'm so relieved.
Like, right? Yeah. Like, I love it. I don't know what I was so scared of. Just give me my slippers and, you know, episode of The Traitors and a cup of tea and I'm happy. And a little bit of cross-dressing on the side, you know. Keep it fun. What else do I want to talk to you about? I could just talk to you for hours and hours. We have actually talked for hours and hours. What time? Little do you know. What time did you arrive here? It was like...
It was a few days.
A few days. I'm holding her hostage. The gay agenda. She's going to be leaving in a tutu singing Ariana Grande.
3 weeks for Save Me. Mum.
Let's could you do some quick fires? Some fun ones?
I'm up for it. Yeah.
Okay. Favourite movie?
Torch Song Trilogy.
The Torch Song Trilogy.
Hands down.
Okay.
Yes.
Favourite book?
Tales of the City, all of them put together.
Work.
Like the whole thing.
Favourite, like, musical artist?
Annie DiFranco.
Annie DiFranco. Yes. Nice.
Icon. Yeah, still making music.
Note these down, people. Favourite queer venue?
Betty Fuck in Berlin.
Betty Fuck in Berlin. That sounds like a party.
It is.
Betty Fuck.
They're amazing.
Oh, is it?
Very naughty.
Is it? Is it? Oh, how naughty.
But it's very campy. It's not like, you're not talking Berghain. You're talking like dive bar meets tiny cabaret bar meets disco bar meets hot, friendly staff, international.
This is a bit of me. Those are my favourite spaces.
Yeah, very campy, not judgy at all.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, very, very female friendly as far as I know.
I've
always had great times there. What?
I've never been to Berlin.
Hold the boat. And
I feel like the moment has passed because I'm just less rock and roll these days. Do you know what I mean? It's all like yoga and crystals and stuff like. But can I just go and like I don't know, just
side of Berlin.
Could I just go and like smoke a blunt and just like chat shit and like
It's a really
Betty Fuck
casual
vibe.
Yeah, it's fun. It's opposite the Vivienne Westwood store actually. So
so I'll go get like a little outfit. And it's very female. It's very lesbian in there.
It's more boys mixed, I would say.
Like mixed.
But
I love mixed.
They do. It depends on the night. Sometimes they do have a gang of queer girls.
Mixed venues is like my fave.
Yeah, they're just open to everyone.
Yeah, like the Divine.
The
Divine is very mixed. Have you ever been to Pikes in Ibiza?
No.
That's very mixed. It's great. It's where they it's in the mountains. It's where Grace Jones used to live there, and Freddie Mercury stayed there for a time, and George Michael filmed the Club Tropicana video there.
Oh,
and it's like a tiny little like Spanish village, and it's all like disco house. And it's there's like a dressing up closet. It's fabulous. It's.
So hang on, going back to the dressing up closet.
Yes.
It's just a closet where you dress up, or there's
baby,
stuff in there.
Baby, it is like a boudoir. It's a boudoir, and there's like gorgeous like gowns, and you like go and like rent them, and you have to put your stuff in and away, and you get changed, and there's a lady that like staffs it, and it's like so mixed, and it's like it's like it's le je de quoi, because I can't do all the alphabet letters, darling. The le je de quoi is much easier, and it's the allies are like groovy that are in there, and it's very fun. It's very cool. Yeah. I love those mixed places.
Another recommended bar, Goldfinger, the lesbian bar in Tokyo. Pretty much all the lesbian bars in Tokyo, shout out.
Are they your favourite lesbian bars in the world?
Yeah, they're great. I mean, they're transitioning. You know, some of them are new, some of them have been there a while.
Yeah.
There's a lot of changes going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, it's just nice to have bars, tiny, tiny Japanese bars with tiny, tiny people.
Goldfinger.
Yeah.
What a great name for a
Chica's an
lesbian bar.
institution. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So that's what I would say.
This is like widely off topic, but we were discussing it before, and I just need to like bring this to attention. We were talking about where the first strap-on came from.
Oh yeah.
And then we googled, and there was like in the ice age, in the caves, there was dildos. Amazing. I mean, I was like, would they
It's
have
actually not that surprising when you think about it.
Yeah.
I guess quite far back then they must have been thinking, yeah, come on.
getting
All we've got
groovy?
is games, so we might as well
But
keep ourselves busy.
I mean, I guess they would have sandpapered it on something.
Oh god.
I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know. I mean, they were making tools. Like I don't know.
Yeah, funny. You never get that in schools, do you? When you're being dragged around museums, being told to read history, and then they never bring up the.
I want to see the first dildo.
dildos.
Like they must be some. Maybe they're in like the sex museums of like.
I was thinking that.
There's one in Amsterdam, isn't there? The sex museum. I don't remember it though, but like. I don't know. I don't remember a lot, darling. You know.
I remember how we got onto this because of Japan in the 1600s, 1700s, having a big queer scene.
That's right.
And how it all got knocked out by the Christians' arrivals and stuff.
Bloody Christians. Yeah. I just.
Although there's one beautiful person, as we were talking about this earlier, talking about Trump and all that, the bishop.
I'm obsessed with this Shiro, this heroine. She moved me to tears. She gave me so much hope. I think she's a beacon for the community, for the world. And what bravery. I love her. Bishop Marianne Bood. Buddhi, or I'm not sure how to say her. Buddha. She is giving Buddha. You know, I love Buddhism. It's fabulous. She is incredible.
Yeah.
That is what all spirituality at its basis, because everybody's talking about the same things. Everyone's talking about the same things, like, you know. Whether it's like energy or God or Allah or you know, it's everyone's talking about the same things in different ways, but no one's denying the existence of it. It's like even like, you know, atheists are like science and things, but like to me, like the biology of like the human body works is so fucking magical. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, you know, everyone's talking about the same thing, and it's just when it's been like bastardized by people for their own gain. And I think she just got to the core of what it is. It's just about like love and compassion and like caring for one another. Humanity. Yeah.
Especially because he'd invoked God during his inauguration speech.
And didn't put his hand on the Bible.
Yeah. So interesting, right? Is that because he thinks he's above God? Or
I think he's above everything.
Did you figure?
I mean, he's just... Yeah.
Or was it because Melania was holding it? So there was an issue.
I don't know what was going on with that orange lunatic with a bad wig. I mean, you can tell he's got no gays looking after him. I mean, the state of that makeup and hair. I mean, come on. Seriously.
Oh my goodness.
What is that? Like, what is that? The look. Like, it's like you've got all those billions and you like can't find like a shade of like makeup that like matches you, or like get like a spray tan and like I don't know. It's so weird to me. And that like crusty like orange bird nest of like I don't know. Like I don't like. It's just. I mean, the whole thing is like. I mean, they were furious, weren't they? Did you see the stairs? I zoomed in, and the eye stairs from him and Melania. And I'm not into the conspiracy and the things. But have you heard about these lizard people? Have you heard about this? People think like some members of like some things
Like
and what's
the Slytherins.
Slytherins are actual lizards and like aliens from other planets. That's the first time looking into those dead, cold, black slits of eyes, and it was him and Manana, that I was like, you know what? You could be onto something. If a little tongue were like that.
Conspiracy theorists.
I know, but I was like, what a load of old tosh. But you know what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
There are, you know, like psychologists, I'd say, who do say that people who are deeply narcissistic do have a different gaze.
Right.
That's
interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
there's just no humanity.
Yeah, it's a bit dead behind the eyes.
It was dead.
Yeah.
And it was like black satanic slits. That's big. Like, I know I'm like casting like, but do you know what? I call it as I see it. I'm from Shaky Wakey darling, and a spade's a spade, and I don't like the man, and I don't like what it stands for and what it says. It's horrible. Yeah.
So let's hope that she stays alive. The bishop. I'm a bit scared for her now because she really put her neck out there, didn't she, for everyone? And
she was so graceful about it. So humble. It was so pure and so wholesome. Anyone that has an issue with that is a sociopath.
Well.
Yeah.
He told her off apparently.
Yeah.
Reports, aren't there? That he was unhappy.
He wants an apology and.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, she kind of taught the leaders around the world a lesson. I mean, we were talking earlier about what can people inside the community do to improve things for themselves or for the community. But it's also like important to have people higher up or community leaders, advocates. I mean, some people don't listen to celebrities, but I think it counts. You know, people in the public eye. I would like to see people really, you know, get their balls and just basically speak out.
Because not many of them do.
No, and I feel like we could possibly be sadly in an era where maybe that's going to happen less, which is a shame than it used to. Maybe let's see. It's still early days. The horror's just beginning. But you know, the leaders that have been sucking up, our leader that's been sucking up, it's understandable to a degree, but considering what he's advocating now and with the executive orders and the shutdowns of diversity programs, things like that, you know, declaring 2 genders, I really do think it's time for some of these leaders to sit down with their PR teams and think, is this really clever? And I don't know if they're all just waiting for the storm to hit and for tariffs to hit before they take a stand. But if these are genuine leaders of democratic countries that have been democratically elected, I would just like to see a little bit more bravery.
Yeah.
And like forward thinking. So yeah, we'll see. What's going on in the States, it's not an isolated thing. I think it's something we need to be like really
hyper vigilant. Yeah, because the copy and paste of it in the UK, seeing it in Australia, and in like across Europe as well. Like, and he has sort of led that, and people are, you know, like Justin Trudeau stepped down.
Yeah.
I love Justin Trudeau, and not just for his gorgeous Canadian tushy, but like he was amazing. It was really sad, and I'm just, we
need we need leaders with moral conviction.
I think people are scared of him, and scared of Putin, and scared of where things are. I don't know.
And that's not good.
It's not good.
No, because that's how things have descended with other leaders.
Yes.
So
we need to look back at the history books.
Yeah,
not that far back. It's not that far. It's not that long ago what went on.
I mean, like, when you were saying about copy and pasting, you've got the Suella Braverman tweet that went out saying, let's get rid of the Equality Law, or the Equality Act.
And which is always so wild to me as, you know, a BIPOC woman. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you know, we're talking about empathy and understanding. I don't know, and it's, you know, the Vance's wife as well. It's she was the only one that listened though. the bishop. Did you watch?
Oh really?
I was like scrutinising. She was like fully engaged. I don't know.
Interesting body language.
The body language. Her husband, Vance was trying to like get her attention and was like, he kept looking at her for like a reaction, and he whispered one thing like the third time, and she was just ignoring him.
Well, I think what we need to remember is like some of these people are not quite as extreme as some of these orders coming out now.
Yeah.
Some people are, some people aren't. And that's going to be interesting to see it all play out, because there's going to be a lot of members of the Republican Party that definitely are not on board what's going on at the moment. They're not Trumpites.
And we need them in there somewhere to hopefully...
to guide the ship a bit.
Yeah, to temper what's going on.
I think, like, based on my advocacy experience from 10 years ago, 12 years ago, in the Pussy Riot days, I don't really think it's going well at the moment. No.
Yeah.
I think that the Democrats are struggling to get their identity sorted out, but they need to do it pronto. The Republicans same. And the impact will be, it's a bit like a tidal wave, isn't it? The tsunami will eventually reach these shores. We'll start having issues over here as well. But you can only hope for the best over there, and that, you know, the local community groups and the advocacy groups and some of the AOC, some of the brave politicians over there will fight, and they will galvanise people. You've got to have, and Kamala's not off the grid.
I love her.
She's not quit politics yet. There are rumours that she might come back into the Democrat Party as a leader potentially.
I think she should.
I think it looks like that she's. At first, people were just seeing her as a massive failure. Obviously, female, person of colour, only had a few months run up. The chances of it working were very slim anyway. And then people just wrote her off straight away. And given what's been going on the last few weeks or so, it looks like things are changing now, and she could be back in some form or other.
Well, you just see her stood next to that like babbling idiot, and like.
What, the
like,
cats and dogs comment?
What was this?
The cats and dogs.
No, I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about Trump?
Yeah,
the babbling idiot.
The babbling idiot, yeah. What was the cats?
The cats and dogs. When they were in the only debate they had, because he was too scared to do any others.
Oh,
and then he shouted out, they're eating, the Haitians are eating the cats and dogs. And then she just burst out laughing because she couldn't believe what he was saying.
He's just like, it does all feel dystopian. It doesn't, it feels like we're watching like a dreadful soap opera. Like, it's so crazy how the lies and the stupidity of it all. It's just, and how easily people are like manipulated and puppeteered. But we've seen it in this country with Brexit, and
yeah, we might be back there again. But on positive,
yes. Oh, they're ready. Who's it? Ooh. Well, what's
the healing salts?
Yeah. Oh, what have we got? Quick, hold on. Wait, let me get my. Let me get my singing bowl out. Wait, hold on. This is for the community.
Yes. Get that positive energy. Okay.
We are holding space. Cynthia and Ariana styling. For healing for all. Calling your elders, your angels, come together in community, in love. You got anything to ask?
No, it just reminded me, going back to our pop questions.
Oh.
Since we're invoking Wicked.
Oh, my favourite movie. My favourite movie. I know it's so gay of me, but Wizard of Oz was always my favourite movie growing up. I read all the books before I saw the musical. Before the musical came over to the West End, I had already been obsessed with the soundtrack for like 2 years prior, and listened to it repeatedly. Saw the stage show 3 times. I've seen the movie 3 times at the cinema. I've never ever seen any film 3 times at the cinema. And I'm looking forward to watching it on Amazon Prime when I finally cough up the £19.99p for it. But I'm waiting for it to go down a little bit because I've seen it 3 times. But yeah, love it. I loved it. Have you seen it?
I've still not seen it actually.
It's so gay.
Yeah, I feel like I need to be
It
like
is
static, like
so
not
gay.
doing events. I need to like have a day off and actually
I like.
make a day of
I
it.
had an out of body experience.
Oh gosh.
Like I was like crying, and I was just like. And like, because I saw it within like the first week, and I pre-booked like weeks in advance, and I was in like one of the big Leicester Square ones. It was like full of like proper Wicked fans, and everybody was like dressed up,
that's amazing.
and it was like such a vibe, and it was like very neurodivergent, very queer, very colourful, and everyone was like so excited, and everyone was so loud until it started. Like everyone was like, and then like literally the first second I went,
oh, that's amazing.
oh, it's amazing. And then like you know, after like the really big numbers, everyone like applauded, and we gave people a standing ovation. Yeah, it was
that's magical.
It was so good.
Oh, the Oscar nominations came out today.
Do you know what? Listen, I would love them to win everything, but I just saw The Substance with Demi Moore.
Yeah,
which
amazing, right?
was just incredible, and now I'm on a Cronenberg journey, all those like gory, visceral, like awesome movies.
What have you watched of Cronenberg so far?
The Fly.
Oh gosh. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
amazing.
Creepy.
Yeah, really creepy. Jeff Goldblum. I mean, he's creepy in that than he is as the Wizard of Oz, but like
that's
you know.
movie.
Do you know why I love Wicked? Just as sorry to say, I could talk on and on and on about it. I mean, I know I should do one on it, but I do think that it has everything in there to teach you how to be a good human being. Although, like, it's very layered. It's, you know, and the timing could not be better for it to come out. I took my goddaughter to see it,
cute.
and yeah, part 2 comes out this year. Anyway, Wicked. I've got the Lego set downstairs. I showed you. I got it for Christmas. Oh, I can't wait. I'm gonna do an edible, and I'm gonna sit there, and I'm gonna do my like Alphabet and Glinda, and just have a lovely.
Lego. Would you like to sponsor this?
I have not done Lego since I was a kid, but I saw the Wicked Lego, and I was like, I have to have that.
There's only one.
No, there's like there's an Emerald City.
Oh, I was wondering.
Yeah, but I was like, I can't get carried away
that's
because if I hyper focus with this Lady HD, that'll be that. Like the the wallpapers will be. I'll turn the entire house into the Emerald City. It'll be too much. You know, it's like one Lego set's enough.
And there's more to come, so you've got to save yourself.
There's part 2, and actually the chap Gregory Maguire who wrote the Wicked novels, there's like a son of a witch, and like there's a prequel and a thing.
Oh gosh.
So you never know.
Keep going. It could be like Lord of the Rings, never ending.
It's ring it till it's ring the last drop of.
Okay, just quickly, The Substance, because we've both seen it. What did you like about it, out of interest?
Oh well, I loved how camp it was. I loved that like it just got gorier and crazier and weirder and weirder and weirder, and I was just like. I had like my jaw open, like I was like, like the entire time. Demi Moore was amazing.
Oh yeah,
I loved.
Absolutely.
I loved the messaging in there and the commentary on like beauty and like culture and all of those things that we know, but it was just done in such a macabre, dark way.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I saw it quite early on because a friend of mine works at Picture House and he said he'd seen it and he just said it was amazing. So I think I saw it on my own. Was I the only person?
On your own?
I think there weren't many people in the cinema because
I don't know if I'm that brave.
I think it was either a preview. It was just like a very quiet day in Liverpool. Love Liverpool.
I love Liverpool. Yeah.
And I just was totally blown away because I purposely didn't read too much on it because I just knew it was going to be a bit nuts, but I didn't expect that. I was completely into it.
Didn't read much into it either. All I saw was a clip of Demi Moore doing the like makeup thing, and I heard that she was very good in it, and that was it. So I had never like watched things that gory before, but so beautifully filmed as well, so artfully crafted. I would like Demi to win Best Actress.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
I think she did.
I haven't seen everything.
I think she did an amazing job. I can't imagine anyone else in that role.
She was insane. Incredible.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Me too. She's gorgeous. Hot. Hot. Like, if I was that way inclined, like, you know, she's
what
gorgeous.
An interesting game.
Well, who are your
If I was into boys...
okay, go on. Yeah, no, come on. Okay, if you were into boys...
I was talking celebrities. Oh, God.
Yeah, go on. Ones that everyone's going to know at home.
Oh, God.
I think Demi Moore's gorgeous. Angelina Jolie.
I feel like I always had crush on people who turned up to be gay men, so it was always...
Oh, really?
Yes, I had George all over my walls growing up, and I was like, oh...
George Michael.
George Michael.
Yeah.
Really pretty man. I quite like the idea of a George Clooney. I guess I could have been a younger woman going after a George Clooney at some point in my life. I like those kind of steady men.
A steady man, like a gentleman.
Yes, like a gentleman. Rugged, you know, into politics. Yeah.
You're describing my husband. Do I need to watch myself? Who likes an intelligent, well-read woman?
I don't know if I want them to be too intelligent.
No? That's your... What sort of ladies do you like? Is there anyone in the scene?
Not at the moment. No, I'm married to my activism at the moment. Because when I'm going through periods like this, I just don't have a social life. I wasn't joking earlier on. I said I do not have a social life.
You're like fully for the cause.
Yeah, I just don't have time. It's actually a lot of time investment.
Is that something you want?
Physically exhausting.
Would like?
I do want to settle down.
Yeah.
Yes, and have some little babies.
You have some babies?
Yeah, not of my own. I'm too old for that.
What was that? and what sort of woman are you looking for?
Why have you gone into the film?
I'm doing Cilla Black. Terrible one.
Oh, really bad.
Graham, fuck back there. Oh no, that's
it's
awful.
Like Blind Date.
If there's any eligible ladies out there that you are interested, I know what has this turned into. Roll up.
I'll filter you out. I don't know. I like intelligent people. I like very cultured people. So somebody who's really into culture, something either that it's part of their job, or I seem to always have creatives or tech people who are in the creative world around me in my life. In that sense, like nerdy creative people. Yeah. A lot of people with ADHD and autism. Yeah. Neurodivergent.
We are fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And very sincere, authentic people. Nice. Like, it's quite hard in the lesbian community because we are quite a small clan. Yeah. I mean, it's not a joke when you've been out and about as a young person and people just start bumping into the same dates because you basically slept with each other or something. Yeah. The whole L word subway map, you know, well not subway map, you know, that whole design is a real thing. Yeah. There was a moment in Tokyo actually when my name was on that.
Really?
Yeah, we did our own version, of course. Like everyone was like, yeah. But yeah, I just kind of like I'm more of a serious person now. I'd say. I either don't date at all or I date very seriously. I also had that moment where I went very celibate for a long time. I was like, I can't be doing this shit anymore.
Yeah, I think it's really, I think it's quite healthy.
I really love being single at periods in my life. I think I need it. But I'm now starting to think that I'd quite like this to be possibly the last time that I'm single. Because I do have a lot of things I want to get done right now. It's easier to focus when you've just got you. But I'm looking forward to having little baby dogs and little baby babies.
What doggies do you want?
And a housewife.
Oh,
little doggies. Oh gosh. Well, huskies are always handsome, aren't they? But they are hard to hunt. They are a lot. I'd probably not be wanting to live in the city in that case. I'd have a house.
Back up north?
Somewhere else. Oh, no. I don't want to stay in Manchester.
No, where would be the dream?
I think I'll always have a space in Tokyo that I'd like to come back to. But we talked about gay rights earlier. That's a bit problematic. I've considered Berlin. I don't know, I'm a bit open-minded at the moment. I don't mind spending a bit of time in London as well. Yep. But in terms of where to settle down, that's a conundrum.
It is a conundrum as a queer person because you want community, work, to feel safe.
I kind of get what you were saying earlier to me privately, that you know, I need a lot of nature around me too. I feel like I thrive on nature, and if I'm not going to be living out in nature all the time, I'd at least want to have somewhere where I can go to, like a retreat that I can go to frequently. I am a big city person, but I don't think I can do it all the time anymore. It's a lot.
It's intense. It's intense. Yeah.
It can get very overwhelming, and I think when you're young it's great, you know, when you just want to meet everyone. But then I think once you become more discerning, you've got your friendships kind of locked down pretty much, and you need a place to hide, basically.
To lay your hat or your beads and feathers.
Oh, I was having this conversation the other day about people you definitely couldn't date. I couldn't date somebody or settle down with somebody who does not like cooking at all. This was something I was talking about with friends the other day. So I definitely am like, know exactly what I couldn't deal with.
Okay.
But apart from that, who knows?
My husband does not cook at all.
And?
It's absolutely fine. He buys me nice things, so it's fine. No, I love cooking, and I love cooking for him. He's made me one thing. He made me like a burrata in the centre with like, he sliced up some tomatoes.
Is that making something?
This is literally the only thing. God bless him. He's amazing. He's wonderful. But like, picked off some basil leaves, drizzled a bit of olive oil on. That's it. In 8 years. But you know what? I love cooking for him. Bless him. But he does so much for me in so many other ways. Yeah.
Everyone's got their skills.
Yeah. I mean, I'm never gonna like do the spreadsheets of the house. He like sorts out all that admin. Do you know what I mean? I just can't, like, figures and like just, you know.
I have a question.
Okay. What is it?
So what made you think, I just need to have time out, no dating, celibacy, I'm going to get serious? Was there anything particular that you're like, I just don't want to do that anymore?
It was how it was making me feel, because this was like back in the days when people were less fluid and open about their sexuality, and heteroflexible wasn't a word, and as many bisexuals weren't out, and I guess I just moved in a lot of creative circles where people would, straight guys would experiment with me, and you know, it was exciting and things, but as soon as they had their way, they were out of there, and I wanted a cuddle. And you know, I wanted all the romance and the cutesy stuff, and I just realised the pattern of the behaviour, and that it wasn't healthy for me, and it was toxic. And so I decided to have a bit more respect for myself and love myself more. Yeah. And
balloons come down from
the ceiling. Is there anything you'd like to share, promote?
Yeah, I mean, we might be having something going on at the Divine in London.
Ooh.
Tentative date, 23rd of March.
Yeah.
Keep posted. If anyone wants to work with us or just interested in what we're doing, and especially because we are starting to do events in London, it'd be great to have more support here. Just get in touch, tell me what you think about our chat, anything we've talked about politically. I'm interested in having further conversations with people. With advocacy, there's probably stuff going on in your local communities. Have a dig around. If not, you can always fire questions in general like me on Future Female Proj.
PROJ?
PROJ.
That's your Instagram, and is that the same on like X and Facebook?
So X is Future Fem Proj. Facebook is Future Female Proj.
I'll put all of these in the
Yeah, you can just get in touch. That's fine. DM. And just stay tuned, because we hope to do a few more things.
Thank you for all of the incredible work you do.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
so,
Thanks for the chat.
of course, you're so inspiring. You're, you know, a community pioneer and leader and advocating for what is right. You're a hero, a heroine, a shero. Honestly, I feel very honoured that you
I'm very honoured.
have come here today and shared your wisdom and your stories.
Thank you.
And especially so because this is this is the second time we had to film it because the video didn't record the second time. But then we actually we chatted for about 2 hours before we even started because you're just so interesting.
Oh, you are?
Me?
Yeah.
Love you. Thank you so
Have
much.
a wonderful time. Thanks so much for having
Thank you
me.
for being here.
Oh,
Let's look it out.
let's have a quag.
A quag. Is that a queer hug?
Yeah.
The quag. Yes. Oh, that's staying within my vernacular forever. Lots of love. Please look after yourselves. Be kind to yourself and each other. And I'll see you again soon. Thank you, Olivia.
Now you're welcome. Thanks, Glitzy. Bye.